Hello, and welcome to the Longevity Unlocked podcast. I'm your host, Nurse Sherrie. I'm a nurse, health writer, longevity coach, and founder of Ask Nurse Sherrie, where I help high performing women reclaim vitality, optimize health, and lead with longevity in mind. My tagline, longevity is not a destination, it's a lifestyle, is not a catchy slogan. It's how I and the women in my community fashion their lives. Today is episode number 7 in our longevity lifestyle series, and the title of this episode is Why Loneliness Ages You Faster and How to Build Connections That Last. We've explored nutrition, movement, sleep, mindset, and today we're diving deep into the S for social connection. Because one of the most powerful yet often overlooked pillars in the longevity framework is the quality of our relationships, our support systems, and our sense of community and belonging. We'll explore the science behind how loneliness and social isolation accelerates aging, tie that into our holistic longevity model, share real life examples, and 3 actionable steps you can take today to increase your social connections. And by extension, your vitality, your resilience, and your longevity. Plus, I want you to stick around for the special invitation at the end. I'll be inviting you to join me at Longevity Advantage Live, How High Performing Women Reclaim Energy, Focus, and Flow After 35, Tuesday, November 11th, and to book a free longevity strategy call with me. So let's begin. Let's start with what the research is teaching us about the role of social connection in longevity. Research number 1 is a widely cited meta-analysis by Julianne Holt-Lundstad and colleagues that found individuals with stronger social relationships had a 50% greater likelihood of survival compared to those with weaker relationships. So in other words, the strength of our social ties is comparable to well-established risk factors like smoking, high blood pressure, or obesity. In another research, a report from the National Academies and related reviews show that social isolation and loneliness are independent predictors of both physical and mental health outcomes, including mortality. That's pretty big. For example, being socially disconnected is associated with a significantly increased risk of premature death. This is very important because we're coming up on the holiday seasons, and when people lack this social connection, the holidays can become very lonely, very sad, and a very depressing place to be. Research number 3, more recently, studies demonstrate that loneliness, the perceived lack of loneliness, is associated with accelerated biological aging, which is epigenetic age acceleration, and increases in chronic disease burden. For example, a study found greater loneliness predicted increases in chronic condition counts and was associated with markers of biological age acceleration. Also, one review notes that prolonged isolation has been estimated to shorten lifespan by as many as 15 years, which is roughly equivalent to heavy smoking. So let's pull this into the longevity framework. Nutrition, exercise, sleep, and stress all shape our physiology and aging trajectories. But even if you're doing everything else right, if your social connection is weak, you're missing a critical piece of the puzzle. Social connection influences physiological dysregulation, inflammatory pathways, cognitive aging, mental health like depression and or anxiety, and functional decline. For instance, one systematic review found loneliness is associated with functional decline and aging. In short, if you're a high performing woman over 35 who's focused on fitness, diet, sleep, mindset, it's time to treat your social ties with equal seriousness because the science says lack of connection accelerates aging, not just in a metaphorical way, but measured through biology. So I'm going to give you some real life examples, some narratives of some clients. I'm changing their names to protect their identity. So client number 1 is Sarah. She's a C-level executive in her 40s. She travels frequently, maintains a disciplined fitness and nutrition regimen, but found that after a major career move, she had fewer in-person connections. Over 2 years, she noticed increased fatigue, worse sleep, rising cortisol, and felt more isolated. And not because she lacked friends, but because she lacked meaningful community and support. That is so important. I am really blessed that I surround myself with like-minded women, because sometimes it's hard. I mean, we have our family and our traditional, what I would like to call day one friends, and that's definitely important. But sometimes as we grow in our careers and in our hobbies and our interests, we lose that tribe, or that tribe gets smaller the higher we climb. And it's important to have that support around you. I had another client, Maya, age 38. She started a mastermind group for high achieving women. And within 6 months of weekly virtual check ins and monthly local meetups, she reported improved mood, better sleep quality, increased resilience to stress, and stronger retention on her health program. And then thirdly, we're going to talk about Tina, who's 50. She joined a local hiking club and a book club after her divorce, and saw that the simple act of just like belonging, being seen, contributing, connecting, boosted her vitality, sense of purpose, and slowed her sense of getting older. I see myself in all of these women, and I'm sure you see yourself also. In true transparency, after my divorce a few years ago, I returned back home to Florida, and I needed that. I grew up in Florida. I went to elementary, middle, high school, and I was educated, college educated at Florida A&M Agricultural and Mechanical University. Whoop, whoop, Rattlers. And so when you're far away from home, because I was living in the Northeast for 10 years, I needed to get back to be in a safe, loving community. And one of the things that I did was I immersed myself in biking and hiking. And not only did I find a complete sense of community in those, there are also excellent forms of physical movement and exercise. It helped my anxiety and low mood, because going through divorce is extreme life altering situation. And all of those things helped me. These examples reflect how social connection isn't just nice to have, it forms a critical underpinning of longevity for high performers. How does social connections tie into gratitude, longevity, and your necessary framework? Now, remember the necessary framework, which I coined, that's my framework. The N is for nutrition, the E is for exercise, the S is for sleep, the second S is for stress management and mindset. And the last S, which we're discussing today, is social connections. And that's the necessary, because it's necessary. All of these things are interconnected. This is the necessary framework. So I'm glad you asked why social connections and gratitude is connected. Now let's weave it in together, because gratitude and social connections amplify each other in the longevity equation. Gratitude fosters deeper connection. And when you express gratitude to someone like a colleague, a friend, a spouse, a family member, you strengthen the bond, you increase oxytocin, you reduce perceived stress, and improve emotional resilience. So, from the longevity lens, my necessary framework emphasizes the three S's: sleep, stress management, mindset, and now social connection. Gratitude practices support mindset and stress, which in turn improves sleep quality and resilience. Meanwhile, stronger social bonds help protect against stress, damaging effects on the body, temple, and mind, which undermines sleep and biochemical recovery. Longevity is the interplay of multiple systems, and social connection is a multiplier. So if you have good nutrition, movement, sleep, and mindset, but your social support is weak, the biological aging risk remains elevated. That's why I said earlier, they're interconnected. Conversely, if you strengthen your social ties, especially meaningful ones, you can amplify the benefits of all the other pillars. So today's episode isn't just about let's go make some more friends. It's about integrating high quality connection into your high performing lifestyle with intention, structure, and gratitude as your lens. So now I'm going to give you 3 actionable steps that you can do today. Yes, today, to increase and deepen your social connections, strengthen community, and build relationships that last. So, number 1, let's initiate a gratitude connection outreach. Choose 2 to 3 people in your network, a colleague, a friend, a mentor, peer, and reach out with genuine gratitude. Send a voice message, a video note, or a handwritten card or email, and thank them for something specific that they've done, or simply for being a part of your life. Invite them to schedule a 20-minute check-in on your calendar, coffee, walk, a virtual chat in the next 7 days. The purpose is to connect, share what's going on, and ask how you can support them. And this is wonderful. I do this. Well, it started out intentionally. Now it's intentionally unintentional because my core girlfriends, we talk pretty much every day. We'll catch up, we'll set up virtual walks together. I'm in two masterminds. So those ladies, we get together once a week and we talk about our business and our life goals and our longevity health lifestyle because again, all of these things are interconnected. So let me tell you why this works. Expressing gratitude strengthens bonds, signals value, and opens the door to deeper relational connection rather than like a transactional connection. It primes your brain for connection, supports oxytocin release, and reinforces your sense of community. So you can join or start a small longevity circle of or a community of high performing women. Identify or create a micro community with 3 to 5 women who share your longevity, health, and high performance values. Schedule a recurring virtual or in person check in, 30 minutes bi weekly, where each person shares what's going well, what challenges they're facing, and one way the group can support each other. So here's a shameless plug alert. If you don't know 3 to 5 women to reach out to, I don't need you to despair. You can join the Longevity Unlocked Collective, where high performing women like us go to support and hold each other accountable in forming and maintaining our longevity habits and lifestyle. We open each session with a 1 minute gratitude round. We just list one thing we're grateful for since the last call, and we close with a pure commitment of one action we're going to take before the next call. This step gives you a structured support system, accountability, peer community, meaningful check ins, all of which strengthen the quality of social connection, not just frequency. Here's a tip. Because you're a high performer, schedule this in your calendar as a non negotiable recurring performance appointment. Treat it as you would your leadership board meeting. And this is really important. I schedule everything. I even schedule when I'm going to take my supplements, when I drink my water, when I work out. I schedule everything because what's not scheduled does not get done. And it keeps whatever I have to do in my awareness. Consistency builds connection. Consistency is the hack to everything. With consistency, you can build systems because willpower and discipline, they'll fail you. Motivation will fail you. But if you have systems in place and you're consistent with those systems, you can build the life of your dreams. So, consistency, like I said, builds connection. Engage in a purposeful communal activity aligned with your lifestyle. Choose an activity that aligns with your longevity lifestyle and invites connection. For instance, a yoga class, a hiking group, a luxury travel retreat, an alumni group, a longevity focused book club and health and wellness volunteer event, or a monthly nature walk and brunch for women in your network. Now, I do all of these things. I was just blessed and honored to come back from my 35th high school reunion cruise where I got together with my classmates. We keep in touch online, but it's nothing like that in person, just relaxing without the confines of work or the constraints of work and just relaxing with each other. It was an awesome experience. I got into yoga when I had an injury years ago, and that has been my mainstay. Connecting that mind and body through movement, it's like a walking meditation. And then, of course, like I mentioned earlier, I got into biking and hiking after my divorce, and I filed for divorce right before we even knew what the pandemic was. And it really, really helped me. One, because everything was shut down except for physical exercise. So it really gave me a chance to clear my mind, to increase my dopamine levels, reduce my cortisol levels. So it improved my mood and it improved my sleep. So being out in nature, it's really grounding. It's really like food for your soul. So we want to make our connections social but purposeful. So the next time you go on a hike, invite one or two women, propose a gratitude share at midpoint, and everyone names one thing they're grateful for and one thing they want to improve. Use the environment to deepen relational bonds. And let me tell you why this step works. Shared experience plus positive movement plus social interaction equals stronger connections. It also ties into your movement exercise pillar and your nature spa luxury travel hobby, and making it congruent with your identity and thus more sustainable. Here's another shameless plug. Starting 2026, Longevity Unlocked, we're going to be opening up VIP intensives, which I will be hosting quarterly. So we could come into a luxury resort or retreat. We're going to relax, do yoga. We're going to institute in one day the necessary framework so you leave with a blueprint of how you can get started on your longevity journey. And it's just going to be a day of getting our nutrition together, our exercise, our sleep, our stress management mindset, and our social connections all in one in a luxurious environment. So stay tuned. I will be announcing those dates in 2026. So, like I said, each of these steps is tied directly to your longevity model. They support mindset, reduce stress, improve sleep. And when you feel more connected, you tend to sleep better. And it bolsters movement via activity and connection. Most importantly, they support the S of the social connection in your necessary framework. So if you're listening and you're a high performing woman over 35 who's serious about future proofing her health, remember your social ties are longevity capital. They deserve as much strategic attention as your workouts, your diet, your sleep hygiene. Because remember, it's all interconnected. And this is where I invite you to go deeper. If you're ready to reclaim energy, sharpen focus, and tap into flow, not just in your career, but in your longevity, your vitality, and your leadership, I would love for you to join me at Longevity Advantage Live, how high performing women reclaim energy, focus, and flow after 35, happening Tuesday, November 11th. We'll take a deep dive into the full necessary framework with your social connection pillar front and center. Also, if you're ready now to map out your personalized longevity strategy, including how to rebuild your relational ecosystem, integrate high quality connection into your performance lifestyle, and create your high vitality support system, I want you to book a free longevity strategy call with me. On the call, we'll clarify your biggest blockers, your next level outcome, and craft a roadmap you can implement starting this week. If you implement the 3 steps we discussed today, you'll already be ahead of many. And by combining them with the strategies you'll learn at the workshop, you'll be positioning yourself not just to add years to your life, but life to your years. I want to thank you for tuning in. If you found value in this episode, please share it with one woman in your network who might also benefit. And subscribe so you don't miss upcoming episodes focused on sleep, gratitude, hormone balance, and the full longevity lifestyle. Again, I want to thank you for listening to Longevity Unlocked. I'm Nurse Sherrie, your quality longevity lifestyle and high performance coach, and I'll see you in the next episode. In the meantime, pick one of those 3 actionable steps, take one small move today, and claim your right to a long, healthy, connected life. See you on November 11th at Longevity Advantage Live. All links will be posted underneath the show notes. Until next time, stay connected, stay vibrant, and remember, longevity isn't a destination, it's a lifestyle.